Take off everything I have bought you. Take it off.
Babe.
Now!
She kicked her deadbeat boyfriend to the curb and thought she was finally free. But Chiamaka didn't realize that her toxic boss was the least of her worries. When a mysterious Odogwu buys her entire office building just to get her phone number, the game changes forever. Is he the blessing her mother promised, or a ghost from a past she's desperate to forget? Today, we're watching the Nollywood hit, Love in Every Word. You won't believe the secret he's hiding. Welcome to AFRI.NATION movie. Kindly share, like, and subscribe. The movie opens as Chiamaka, a high-achieving businesswoman, arrives at work. She is a top executive, but her boss, Miss Juliet, is toxic. Juliet is complaining about sloppy edits on a campaign. Chiamaka looks at the work and identifies the issues with contrast and brand colors. She gives instructions to the media team. Juliet is still not satisfied. She compares Chiamaka to Shehu, another executive whom Juliet favors. Juliet tells Chiamaka she is slow. Furthermore, she warns that if the document isn't sent by 5 p.m., there will be a financial penalty. Chiamaka's mother calls from Anambra. She asks if Chiamaka has booked her flight for Ife's introduction. Chiamaka says she is coming on Friday and leaving Sunday. Her mother is upset. She wants Chiamaka to stay longer. Chiamaka says she has 37 hours only. Her mother mentions a big man she wants Chiamaka to meet. Chiamaka is not interested in her mother's trophy daughter plans. She tells her mother she has a boyfriend. Her mother calls the boyfriend a man who hasn't figured out his life. Chiamaka hangs up and goes back to work. A man named Larry calls. He is an ex from 2 years ago. He says he is in town for 3 days. He speaks crudely to her. Chiamaka is disgusted. She hangs up. Then, Davis calls. Davis is trying to explain a massive financial loss. Chiamaka reveals that she knows $5,000 is missing from her account. Davis admits he lost it in forex trading. He tells her it is a minor setback, a part of the journey. Then he asked her for another $2,000. He claims he has a killer strategy from a friend. Chiamaka calls him mad. She lists his failed businesses: real estate, virtual real estate, and drop shipping. She reminds him she took a loan to buy him a car. She tells him he is a leech. She tells him to leave. She makes him take off the necklace, the shirt, the watch, and the hand chain. She makes him take off his shoes. She even makes him take off his boxers. He asks for $5,000 for a cab. She says no. He leaves in his underwear. She talks to her friends, Sarah and Diamond. They celebrate the breakup. They call Davis a leech. Chiamaka says she is done with men. Chiamaka arrives at the family house in Anambra. The introduction ceremony for Ife is huge. It looks like a carnival. Chiamaka is on her laptop, working. Her mother finds her. Her mother tells her there is someone to meet. Chiamaka says she is already seeing someone. Her mother says, break up with him. She says the man she found is an Odogwu who will treat her like a queen. She says Chiamaka's boyfriends can't even pay rent. She tells Chiamaka she has 10 minutes to finish work and come out. She threatens to pull her out of any corner she hides in. Chiamaka is sitting alone with a drink. A man named Obiora approaches. He asks to join her. He says she looks like she is hiding. She tells him she is hiding from her boss and a 2-year breakup. Obiora says so she's single. He says he understands breakups are heartbreaking. Then he says, I'm going to marry you. Chiamaka is shocked. She asks how he knows her. He lists her name, her job, and her company, Arena Sense. Chiamaka asks if he investigated her. He admits he did. He says even if she were 20 years older, he would marry her. She tells him to stop because if her mother hears, she will believe him. Obiora reveals that he is the man her mother was trying to hook her up with. Chiamaka realizes the coincidence. He says he won't chase another man's woman, but since she is single, his goal is marriage. Chiamaka is back in Lagos. Her friends, Sarah and Diamond, notice she is glowing. They ask about the wedding. Chiamaka mentions she met a man named Obiora. She says he gave her a drink and they talked all night in his hotel. Her friends ask if anything happened. She says no, they just talked. They try to find him on social media. He isn't there. Chiamaka says she doesn't even have his number. He lives in Anambra. She lives in Lagos. She says the distance makes it impossible. Chiamaka is at work. Juliet is screaming again. She says Chiamaka was irresponsible for taking 2 days off, even though it was approved leave. Juliet says there will be no more leave for the rest of the year. She tells Chiamaka to attach a resignation letter to any future leave requests. Chiamaka is silent. Suddenly she hears drum sounds from outside. Obiora enters with some friends. He tells Chiamaka she didn't give him her number, so he came to get it. Chiamaka is embarrassed. Juliet comes out and tells the security man to get the clowns out. The security man reveals that Obiora bought the building that morning. Obiora is the Jew landlord. Obiora tells Chiamaka to put her number in his phone so he can take his friends away. She does it. Obiora takes Chiamaka to a high-end restaurant. He has arranged a private setting. Chiamaka says it is good different. He says he wants to hear about her. She talks about her marketing job and Irina sends. She mentions she is out of stock. Obiora says she needs to prioritize her own business over her boss's business. He says a boss can fire her anytime. He repeats it again. I'm going to marry you. Chiamaka says he is persistent. He says it is confidence. He says life is too short. He watches her eat. Chiamaka starts ghosting Obiora. She doesn't pick up his calls. Obiora comes to her office anyway. He brings more gifts. Chiamaka's friends ask why she is ghosting such a good man. Chiamaka says it is his accent. She says his Igbo accent gives her an ache. Her friends call her mad. They tell her big English hasn't helped her in the past. They call her shallow. They remind her, Obiora bought a building just to see you. Obiora invites Chiamaka to a house he owns in Lagos. He has cooked for her. Chiamaka is surprised he can cook. They sit to eat. Chiamaka says she doesn't date his type. She says Igbo men don't like ambitious women. Obiora says he loves ambitious women. He says Igbo men like to pamper and spoil their women. Chiamaka says she likes the hustle. Obiora points out that he has 54 properties, 11 in her specific neighborhood. He says distance isn't an issue because he is only one flight away. Chiamaka brings up the accent again. She says it gives her an ache. Obiora is hurt. He says his being angry doesn't mean he has to be mean. He remains a gentleman and walks her out. The lawyer calls Chiamaka. She has a surprise. She has recovered $12,000 from Davis. She used transfer receipts and evidence of his clubbing to threaten him. Chiamaka is thrilled. She can finally restock Irina cents after 8 months. She realizes she doesn't need a man's investment if she has her own money back. Chiamaka's mother arrives in Lagos unannounced. She heard Chiamaka went on a date with Obiora. Chiamaka says he is not her type. Her mother is furious. She calls him wealth personified. She says Chiamaka is rejecting a blessing from God. She goes on a hunger strike. Food will not cross her mouth until Chiamaka agrees to marry him. Chiamaka is in a meeting with Juliet. The client likes Chiamaka's campaign. Juliet says she's giving the execution to Shehu because he is a top executive. She tells Chiamaka she has to split the commission. Chiamaka is furious. She says she worked tirelessly. Juliet ignores her and tells her to move to a smaller office. Chiamaka is at a jewelry store with her friends. They see a rose gold piece worth $17,000. Obiora is there. He is buying diamonds for his niece. He sees Chiamaka. He calls her a sight for sore eyes. He buys the $17,000 piece for her on the spot. He introduces himself to the friends as Chiamaka's husband. Chiamaka is embarrassed but doesn't stop him. They go to dinner. Obiora drops Chiamaka home. Chiamaka asks him to come inside. Obiora says he doesn't want it to be about sex. He wants to know her on a different level. Chiamaka admits she is falling in love with him. She says she tried to fight it, but it is exhausting. They kiss. Chiamaka and Obiora are in bed. It is 3 a.m. Chiamaka's phone rings. It is Juliet. Juliet starts screaming, calling Chiamaka irresponsible over an email. Obiora takes the phone. He asks who is calling and shouting like someone from an asylum. He tells Juliet never to call this number. At an ungodly hour again, he hangs up. The next day at the office, Juliet is fuming. She tells Chiamaka to join Shehu's team. Chiamaka says no. She says she is the one in charge. She tells Juliet that if she calls at an ungodly hour again, she will sue. Chiamaka resigns. She tells her assistant, T, to write both their resignation letters. She lists the 117 hours of unpaid leave. Juliet says they are fired. Chiamaka says, great. Obiora meets Ife. Ife tells him why Chiamaka hates the accent. She reveals Chiamaka's father was a titled man who spoke just like Obiora. He was rich, but had a secret family in the UK. Chiamaka's mother was the mistress. Chiamaka was called a bastard. Since then, Chiamaka has hated men who remind her of her father. She dates broke men because they feel safe. Obiora realizes he is her trauma trigger. Chiamaka is at home. Her mother brings Obiora in as a surprise. Obiora tells Chiamaka he knows about her father. He says he understands why she didn't want his money. He says, with me, there is no other shoe to drop. He says he wants to pamper her. Chiamaka cries. She says she loves him. She tries to propose to him. Obiora stops her. He says, in his culture, the man proposes. He presents a diamond ring. He asks her to be his wife. She says yes. They embrace. The nightmare is over. The movie ends.